We're going to get started for Town of Branford Board of Finance meeting dated Monday, April 6, 2026. Tonight's a regular meeting and also budget workshop. Number one on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the January 26th, March 3rd special meeting, March 23rd, 24th, and 26th meetings.
Move to accept.
Move to accept
Second.
by Al.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Number two on the agenda is citizens' communication. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to address the Board of Finance, now's your time to do it.
Can I ask a question? Yeah.
You have to come up. And identify yourself, please.
Of course. Greg Gerolman, good evening. A question. I wanted to speak on one of the items on the agenda.
Now's your time to do it.
Now's the time. Okay, I thought you would call for comments for the individual items. So anyways, I wanted to speak to the $1.5 million that the Board of Finance allocated on top of, I guess, on top of what was asked for a, I believe, an electric vehicle fund. I'm saying it wrong, but I believe that's the essence of it. First off, I'd like to go back to the previous meeting. It's ironic the public commented about a $1.5 million increase for the Board of Ed from more of an operational perspective, because that's what Dr. Tramberg was brought in to do. He was brought in to raise the bar from an educationally, more from an educationally centric perspective, as opposed to being a leading edge client for electric vehicles. Now, I'm not opposed to the electric vehicles. This isn't to throw shade on the electric vehicle concept and the pluses and minuses like anything else. But it's ironic that it's good that you all gave the extra money or are recommending the extra money. On the flip side, it is ironic that the same amount that was respectfully suggested by the public is now, instead of something more educationally centric, it's toward electrical vehicles. One of the things that is front and center in terms of what the public was asking for, in terms of these additional monies, is for a paraprofessional contract that is inequitable, unjust. It's an embarrassment and a joke, and it's been going on for quite a while. This is an opportunity to kind of help put that to bed in a meaningful way. So it's great that you all are giving the extra money, but at the same time, is it really pointed in the right direction in terms of what is, at a loss of a better term, low-hanging fruit, again, from an educational perspective? And, so I guess the point is that if you all are going to put more money over and above into the educational budget, which is great, and I commend you for doing that, may I respectfully suggest that we direct it at what is the lowest hanging fruit. The electric vehicles, in closing, this was an issue, this was in motion prior to Dr. Tramberg coming on board. I hope you all know that. He inherited it. I'm not saying that he's against it or for it, but again, Dr. Tranberg was brought on to raise the bar of the district, and he's doing so in a manner that exceeds expectations. The additional budget funding needs to reflect that, and we're left with something that is arguably, instead of a big win, it's lukewarm. And if we're going to put that money in a direction again, let it go in a direction that has the greatest impact. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mooney.
Thank you, Greg. Any other comments from the public with regards to agenda items on tonight's agenda? Okay. Item number 3 is to consider and, if appropriate, approve a request from the Sustainability and Compliance Manager for the following fiscal 26 transfer from material handling, $7,500, to consulting services, $7,500. Welcome, Tyler.
Hi, everyone. So this transfer would be for a spill prevention control and countermeasure plan for the transfer station. A facility needs this plan if they go over a total of 1,320 gallons of either diesel or oil storage. In the beginning of this fiscal year, the old DPW location moved one of their storage tanks to the transfer station, and then that now makes it where we have to have this at the transfer station. So we're suggesting or asking to move this to our consulting services, and this would be done by Fuss & O'Neill, who would do all the consulting and put it together for us. This was not recently. The last time it was done was 2012 for the then DPW director, and it was also done by Fuss & O'Neill, so they're very familiar with the process.
Okay. And you provided us with a copy of the contract. Thank you.
Correct.
Questions from the board on this request for transfer within your budget?
Yes, this should be within the budget. This would be from material handling, which is the line that we project all of our tonnage. We go a bit above on the tonnage because it's based on projections, and we need to cover that tonnage. We should most likely, I would almost say definitely, have 7,500 extra at the end of the fiscal year.
Okay. Again, questions from the board? Somebody want to move it? Move it. Harry,
Second.
Moved by Harry, seconded by Yvette. Discussion? Harry? No, we had a question?
Did you have a question for Frank?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
What's that?
I thought somebody had a question, I'm sorry.
Okay, you're all set. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, you're all set, Tyler.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 4 is to consider and, if appropriate, approve request from the Finance Director for capital transfers and appropriation from fund balance for fiscal 26. And it reads from, these are from older capital accounts that can be closed out. Correct, Catherine?
Yes.
So Police Department, the veneer repairs, $4,000. Community Development Software, $259. Solid Waste Software Upgrade, $44.83. Scanning and Microfilming, $44.63. Online Permitting of $11,284. Desktop Computers for $635. GIS Database for $1,885. Seawall Improvements at Branford Point for $150,691. Trolley Bridge Scout Project, I believe. Scour Project?
Yes, the Scour. Project. Yep.
$142. And CoreLogic Software Upgrade for $33.94. That totals $181,236. And those would all be transferred out to the general fund, correct?
Yes.
For $181,000. And then the concept is to also increase the appropriation of the general fund by the amount of that $181,236. In addition, a transfer from fund balance for $824,764, which would then fund or pre-fund some of the requests that are in the fiscal 26-27 budget. And those will be identified again when we go through the budget workshop, but for purposes of this transfer, there'd be $250,000 for portable radios at the police department. And what that does is remove the requests that the chief put in for fiscal 26-27, as well as the future year. So this would fully fund that portable radio replacement. It would fund $98,000 for the DPW radios. It would take care of the transfer station floor reconstruction for $225. $225,000, thank you. It would fund the IT documentation digitization project for $250,000, and take care of IT, the information technology townwide camera replacement for $85,000. And finally, it would fund tax office renovation for $98,000. So that total would be $1,006,000. And then there's a corresponding transfer out to capital funds in order to fund that. Catherine, you want to explain anything further before I read the appropriation? Proposed resolution?
I don't think so. Does anybody have any questions on the capital items I'm looking to close out? The only one that was of significant dollars was the Branford Point seawall improvements. That was appropriated in 2021. It was originally $225,000. We supplemented that for a total budget of $450,000, and those bids came in lower than that. So this is the balance. I reached out to the town engineer, and he said that the project is complete. So that was the largest of those transfers that I thought you guys might have questions.
Okay. Other questions on this strategy or closeout transfer? Again, by closing out these projects, there's a statute that's over a period of time they get closed out automatically anyhow if in fact they weren't being utilized. In this case, we're closing them out because the funds are not needed in order to supplement additional fund balance allocation in order to pre-fund some of the requests for 26-27. So with no questions right now, I will read the resolution. Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $181,236 from increased revenues resulting from the closeout of capital balances, an appropriation of $824,764 from fund balance. These appropriations will increase the fiscal year 2026 general fund from $141,458,673 to $142,464,673, and will be used to fund various capital projects.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Yvette, seconded by Fran. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item number 5 is to consider and if appropriate, create a Board of Education electrification fund and approve an appropriation for fund balance for fiscal 26. There is a memo from Catherine with regards to that. Catherine, would you like to provide the recap of that letter?
Sure. So 2 years ago, the Board of Education entered into a 10-year contract with Zoom Services to eventually phase in and only have the electric buses. So it was a gradual increase. The reason I'm looking to create the fund is because they have lost grant dollars, or actually the timetable was just moved up. It was supposed to be over a 3 to 4 year period, the phasing in of the purchase of the buses. But with federal grants being the way they are, they lost, and they had to speed up those dollars. So 45% of that project was to be covered by grants. And I did speak to the CFO of the Board of Education. So $6.3 million was a Board of Education grant. $5 million was a grant directly from DEEP to Zoom services. $1.2 million additional grant from Connecticut DEEP. And then what got phased out were these tax credits, and they amounted to be about $30,000 to $40,000 per bus. So it just accelerated the time frame for Zoom to fund the buses. So putting it in a special revenue fund will help us smooth out those appropriations over years to, every year. If you looked in the Board of Ed budget, they had a substantial increase. It was around $729,000. So with the 1.5 million that I was looking to take from assigned fund balance, when we assigned the fund balance a couple years ago, it was to be potentially used to, slow down, or I should say, to alleviate some of the reliance that we have on federal and state grants at the Board of Ed. So it just seemed to fit for me, that we would take it, we would put it in to sort of prime the fund, and then have smaller increases as time went on, so that we could, maybe do it over 10 years as opposed to the accelerated 3 years that Zoom is looking to build it into the contract now.
So this would go into a fund, and
Yes.
how do things get expended out of that fund?
There's, what we were thinking, and I should say we, the administration, was that the fund would be on our side, and as the Board of Education paid the bills, we would reimburse them out of the fund, sort of like we do with their non-lapsing funds. Because then it could get caught in their, and I know I'm going to use the wrong report, but it's their expenditure reporting, it's their ED001. I'm not sure what it's called now.
Right.
But that way they can capture those funds, and but the fund would actually sit on the town side of the general ledger.
Right. Now, you worked with Jim Finch on this.
Yes.
To set up and do a pro forma over the life of the fund.
Yes.
Which, again, with the intent of it was to smooth out.
Yes. I will say I took credit for everything, but a lot of it was worked through from Jim. It was one of his last hurrahs as he retired.
Right. And this is also somewhat dependent on the receipt of state grants.
Oh, yeah, I should have mentioned that part. It is. The administration has reached out both on and I'll let Josh speak to this.
So we are working with various organizations within the state, including the DEEP, to work on getting grants that were earmarked for electrification of buses. Currently, there's a grant that's sitting there that we're working on capturing that I believe is $700,000, that we are the only organization in the state that qualifies for that $700,000. So I don't think it's a hard stretch for us to get. We believe we'll be able to bring in almost $3 million over the life of this contract. So one of the things we'll do is, as we receive those funds, we'll put them into as we receive the grants, we'll put them into the fund to help smooth the cost of the electrification of the buses and that whole fleet. And I would point out, I occasionally read Facebook, and there's a lot of talk about, why is Branford doing the electrification of buses, and it's costing us all this money. But in reality, when the bid process was done, Zoom was cheaper than the other two organizations that bid on transporting our kids. So, as we move forward and we smooth this out, and that's all this is it's another, so we don't have big increases from year to year, we can phase it across the 10 years, and it just will work better for us as a town, which is why the whole special fund started to begin with. I mean, we all remember the fire apparatus days, and this is just a way to smooth that across. And I'm confident we should be able to get, if not all, most of those grants through the state.
I would like to just mention, too, it is a 10-year contract, so we are, like I said, this is a financing mechanism to smooth it out, but we truly are responsible for the additional costs. It's just that they got front-loaded because the grants were expiring. Grants that, had a longer life that, administrations change and then grants sunset, so.
Yep. Thank you. And I also might point out that this contract did come before the Board of Finance 2 years ago, I believe, and the board did not, we did not take action, or we expressed our displeasure with the contract, knowing that the Board of Ed had the final say, and the Board of Finance did not have any jurisdiction over executing that contract. But we do know that we have the responsibility to fund it in some fashion. So this will assist in at least that smoothing effort that Catherine had noted, along with Josh. Questions from the board? Fran, you have something?
I just, not being here and understanding the 10-year contract from 2 years ago and really understanding what this is all doing, I'm not sure I really understand it all. So I'm not sure what that means on this committee. That's all.
So what we're doing tonight would be, we'd be moving $1.5 million out of fund balance and moving it into a special fund, which would then be used for some of the extraordinary or the advance payments for the electrification contract that the Board of Ed has the liability for.
So we are going full electronification for all our buses over a 10-year period? Is that what's...
Yeah, it was supposed to be over a longer phase-in period, but as Catherine pointed out, because of the changes in D.C. and to take away some of the credits,
Got that, yes.
Then what they said is, initially when the contract came out, it said over so many years they were going to phase in, get rid of gas, get rid of diesel, and go to full electric. And the sort of plan was to, over, I think it was a maybe 3-5 year period, they were going to go all electric. Now what they're saying is because of the changes in D.C., if they don't take advantage of those credits and purchase and get into contracts for the electric buses earlier, then they're not going to enable, the contract's not going to work similarly because they won't have the tax credits that they had planned on initially when the contract was let.
Okay.
So it's a little confusing. Again, to some extent it's out of our purview because we don't manage the contract, the Board of Ed does. And so we're at the funding level, but we don't have, unfortunately, we don't have say in the contract, or did not have say in the contract.
Interesting.
They didn't give it to you at time.
So, Fran, basically, I think the issue we have in front of us is that it's quite an increase of what we were anticipating spending in this year because we had to go full electric, which starts, I believe, July 1 or somewhere in there.
And we are committed to that.
We are committed to that. We are 100%,
Okay.
no questions asked. That contract was signed long before my term here. We are going full electric. It's just because of the nature of the federal government making some changes, they had to do all of their purchases sooner. So in order for them to stay, we have to make these payments earlier than we had anticipated. So in the reality is, in year 10, like, let's say we don't create this fund, we spend a lot more now than we would in year 10. But this, by creating this fund, the idea is we'll smooth it out so it's not a large increase in year 1, but the same sort of payment for all 10 years. That's the kind of theory that Jim Finch and now Catherine live by. Let's make the payment the same all years.
Yeah.
Totally understand. I was just, the back end of this from a couple of years ago, I really didn't understand the whole process. Now I'm starting to piece it together. When the Fed grants, if they're approved, you were talking about possibly 700,000?
Well, that's a state. That's
I
state,
meant state.
yeah.
I apologize. How does that impact this? Does that help this? Does that?
Well,
We've anticipated.
we're anticipating it in that. If it doesn't come through, we're going to have a very different
So
conversation.
this could be 2.2 million.
We may, there would have to be some adjustments in this fund, without question, I'm not going to lie to you, but I'm pretty confident that we can get the lion's share of those grants.
The reason that the 1.5 is being requested tonight is so that the 27 budget, regardless of the 700,000 or the other grants, there would still be enough in that fund to cover the expenses, the additional expenses next year, which is why I had asked to take it from that assigned fund balance.
Okay, I got it. Thank you.
So I know it's a lot to absorb, so appreciate that. Other questions or comments? Harry?
No,
You good?
I'm not good, but I have no comment to make at this time.
Okay. So I will read a resolution here that complements the transfer of fund balance of $1.5 million into the electrification fund. The resolve that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an increase in appropriations for the fiscal year 2026 general fund budget from $142,464,673 to $143,964,673. This increase will be funded through an appropriation from fund balance and will be used to establish a Board of Ed electrification fund. That's the proposed resolution. Somebody like to move that?
Move the question?
That's been moved. Somebody want to second it?
I'll second.
Deborah seconded it. Is there discussion? All in favor?
I'm sorry, could I, that's just one more question. We really have no choice because of the contract. That's the bottom line. We need to, and this will smooth out, I understand it'll smooth out, but if we don't do this, we're going to have ebbs and flows every year, correct? The contract is set. We have no choice to back away from it, from electrification.
I don't think I don't know if the town council has looked at trying to get out of the contract. I don't think that's anticipated.
Okay.
So I think we have to accept that we have the contract, and we have to fund it, whether or not we fund it through this, or we actually increase the Board of Ed budget. This, in fact, provides, as Catherine said, this provides a little more focused direction of the fund balance to a specific item.
Gotcha, okay.
And that's one of the benefits of setting up the special fund, and also smooth it out. Josh?
I would also say that, I guess any contract could be broken, sure. I mean, it might cost you some money, but then you still need to move the kids starting July 1. You still need to transport kids, and now you have to go and find a contract, an organization to do that. And I think not only will that be almost nearly impossible, but it would probably cost you in the end, because you're doing it last minute, a lot of more money. So while I understand your question and I respect your question, even if you could get out of it, I don't think practically and financially it would be the best decision to try to get out of it.
And again, this is new to me. So I'm
I
only asking the
just want to
question.
say,
Okay.
Frank, Fran, also point out that any question's a good question at the board level here, and any comment's a good comment. So it's like, this is, we want this to be open and as much clarity as possible. So, motion was made and seconded by Deborah. Is there additional discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstention? I think we're unanimous, so thank you. Okay, item number 6 is the fiscal 26-27 budget work session. Again, this is, a meeting open to the public, but we do not take comments from the public on our deliberations and our movement and approvals through the budgets that are presented. Okay, so, and I will mention that the board did have several conversations amongst the board members, along with the administration, and has culminated in my distribution of some proposed adjustments to the requested budget. And what we'll do is go over the initial request and then make any adjustments as we go through. And the requested budget as presented to the board was $150,250,274, representing a 6.2% increase in expenditures. And we had revenues of $22,172,000, resulting in a amount to be raised from taxation of $128,077,000, and equated to a mill rate of 22.7, or a 1.3 increase in the mill rate. After some of the movements and changes we've adjusted, we're suggesting that the budget requirements initially might be $148,694,679, or a 5.1% increase. So we'll go through each budget, starting with the Board of Ed, and note any recommended or suggested changes. So starting with the Board of Ed, the amount requested for fiscal 26-27 was, on the operating side, was $72,758,591. And the recommended is to reduce that request by $729,015, and that would equate to a increase of to $72,029,576, an increase of 4.1%. Is the board following me on that? Mm-hmm. And so a portion of that, there's a $429,015 that would get moved to the transportation fund. That's the suggestion. And then a $300,000 reduction in overall reduction. So it would be the $300,000 plus the $429,015 for a reduction of $729,015. Again, a recommended budget of, Catherine, correct me if I'm wrong, $29,000, correct?
Say that one more time, Joe?
$72,029,576.
$76, yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is there questions from the board? Conversation? We have brownies here for the board if they need something to tune them up a little bit. Somebody want to move that?
I will move it.
So the procedure would be, just to remind everybody at the board level here, is that we would go through the budget, identify the original budget as requested, identify potential changes, if any, come up with a revised number, have a conversation about that, any other changes, up or down, and then ordinarily somebody would move it, so that we move on each budget. So we'll let Fran move on the budget if he likes, or Al, or Yvette.
I'm happy to.
I usually don't move on a budget. Again, if there's a tie vote, which if there is, that's fine, then the first selectman would have the final vote if there's a tie vote for the 6 members at this board here. So I have a Board of Ed budget potentially of $72,029,576. What's your pleasure?
I move.
Moved by Yvette.
Second?
Second by Alfred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed? Okay. Thank you. What we'll do next is to go to the Board of Ed capital. In the past, historically, we've done the Board of Ed initially first. And so the capital request from the Board of Ed was $3,490,000, which actually included the $2.5 million for HVAC and cogen, which was included in their capital plan and their 5-year plan. And ordinarily, that would have its own. It wouldn't come out of general fund and would usually be deferred to another conversation based on the size of the expenditure. So the recommendation is to fund their everything but that $2.5 million, so it's $990,000 is the suggestion for the Board of Ed, basically unchanged, because that's really what was coming out of taxation. So I'll take a motion on that.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
Second?
seconded by Fran. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. And then from now, we'll go back to the top of the expenditure fund, Department 104-101, which is legislative, on page 1 of your budget summary. And I'll go through those departments and identify any changes that might have occurred. Again, if someone has a change that they'd like to discuss, now's the time to do it. Legislative, the request was for $23,687. No change. And that's so the request is $23,687.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette,
I'll second.
second by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is executive, $352,461. No recommended change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette,
Second.
second by Harry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Finance, $157,134, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette,
I'll second.
second by Deborah. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is fiscal services, $711,643.
So moved?
Moved by Yvette. Discussion? Somebody want to second it first?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Seconded by Deborah, thank you. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Assessor, $534,308.
Moved?
Moved by Yvette,
Second?
second by Harry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is Board of Tax Review, $15,740. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
I'll second.
second by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next is Tax Collector, $841,479. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
I'll second?
second by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next up is, I need a ruler here.
Town clerk?
Town Clerk, $303,007. No change.
So moved?
Moved by Yvette,
I'll second.
second by Deborah.
We have a question.
Question? Yes.
Any progress on filling the position?
So right now, we have interviews scheduled for Wednesday with the Board of Selectmen. We will do those in executive session, and then the idea is to make a decision with the selectmen as a whole. As you know, the ordinance changed last year or the year before, so it has to be a unanimous decision. So we've agreed to interview all of the candidates as a body, come with a decision that works as a body, and then go from there. Whether or not we appoint at that point permanently depends on their qualifications of the applicants, but I think our decision will be to find the most appropriate candidate for Branford at that point, and then decide how we want to proceed based on their qualifications.
How many candidates do you have?
Right now, I have 4 to interview.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we voted on that one, right?
No.
No, we didn't?
Well, you.
Further discussion? Any more discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, thank you. Next is legal services, $452,400. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
I'll second.
seconded by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Labor relations, $83,600. No change.
So moved.
Moved by Fran,
I'll second?
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Probate court, $19,350. No change.
I'll move it?
Moved by Yvette, seconded by Fran. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is elections, $342,525. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
I'll second?
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is Department of Planning, Conservation, and Development, $664,575. No change.
So moved.
Moved by Al. Second by Fran. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals, $11,689. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah.
Second?
Second by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Economic Development, $79,600. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah.
Second.
Second by Alfred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, inland wetlands, really voting on a zero here, so we probably should vote on it. Inlands and natural resources, because of the changes, there's a zero budget. We should just vote on that.
So moved.
Moved by Fran,
Second?
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Muni, government buildings, $1,374,374. Good number. No change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Cable TV, $28,138. No change.
So moved?
Moved by
Second.
Yvette, and is that Al, you seconded?
Second, yeah.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. IT, Information Technology, $1,443,521, no change.
So moved.
Moved by Fran,
Second?
second by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. HR, Human Resources, $400,041, no change.
So moved.
Moved by Al,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next page, Police Services, $8,924,515, no change recommended.
So moved?
Moved by Yvette,
Second.
seconded by Harry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Special Detail, $525,000, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Department of Emergency Management, $30,500, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
Second?
second by Fran. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Fire Protection, $9,561,632.
I'll move it.
Moved by Yvette,
Second.
second by Fran. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Building Inspection Enforcement, $327,774, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
Second?
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Other Protection, Animal Control, $450,379, no change.
Move it.
Moved by Harry,
Second?
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next up is Public Works, $2,995,566, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
Second.
seconded by Alfred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Solid Waste Management and Recycling, $5,271,431. That includes a recommended change of $4,928, which is really contractual. $4,908 would go into regular salaries and wages, an increase, making that total $371,814, and accrued payroll would get bumped up by $20. So that's the $4,928 for a total, as I mentioned, of $5,271,431.
Excuse me, Joe. I think you missed the water pollution control.
WPCA.
Oh, how about that? All right. So why don't we do, okay, so we'll go back to them. WPCA, Water Pollution Control, $600,000.
So moved.
So moved.
Moved by Fran, seconded by Yvette.
Yes.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now we'll go back to Solid Waste Management and Recycling for the amounts that I said 3 times.
I'm sorry.
What?
I thought it was already approved. That's why I went back.
Oh,
So-
it was approved? I don't think we voted on it.
We didn't vote.
Hey, you didn't vote on it.
No, you didn't vote on it.
We didn't vote on it.
Sorry.
I know this is,
So moved.
I'll
it's
second.
been moved and seconded again. And so it's $5,271,431 going once. Is there discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Engineering, $573,828, no change.
So moved.
Moved by Alfred,
I'll second.
seconded by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Human Services, $1,301,856, no change.
So moved.
Moved by Al,
I'll second.
seconded by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is
No, Commission for Elderly.
Commission for Elderly, again, a zero budget, but we should ratify that. They were absorbed by other departments, recreation, et cetera.
I'll move it.
Moved at zero, seconded by Alfred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
East Shore Health, $452,080, no change.
Move it.
I'll second.
Moved by Harry, seconded by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is Department of Parks, Recreation, and Senior Services, $1,786,513, no change.
So move.
I'll second.
Moved by Alfred, seconded by Deborah. Their discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Parks and Rec, $26,800, no change.
Parks and Open Space.
Parks and Open Spaces, what did I say?
Parks and Rec.
Oh, Parks and Open Spaces, thank you. $26,800, no change.
So moved.
Moved by Fran,
I'll second.
second by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Docks and Recreational Facilities, $22,041, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah, seconded by Yvette. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, public, where are we on? Public celebration?
Yep.
$54,554, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
Second.
seconded by Al. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Conservation Commission, $11,772, no change.
So moved.
Moved by Fran,
Second?
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is Blackstone Library, $1,837,106.
109.
109, thank you. What's the $708 change here is to reduce the town's contribution by $708, and I want to recognize that it was brought up by Dan Edelman, a question about the fundings for Blackstone Library, and there was some discussion with regards to the endowment fund and the amounts that were contributed by the library to supplement the town amount. And at the time, we thought that and I was under the understanding that there was an agreement on 2.25% of the endowment, but with research by Catherine and myself and looking at some of the information, it was really it was based on the amount of change from year to year. So at the time, there was some work that Jim Finch did back in 2020 and earlier. He did quite a good review as usual on that, and they also modeled a 3%, a 3.25%, and a 3.5%. But those were not necessarily the draws from the endowment fund, but they were increases from year to year. And so it's a little nebulous as to exactly what the amount should be, because there was a question by the Board of Finance and others as to what should be the maximum amount of town's contribution. And at that time, it was a consensus that what the town didn't want to do is to pull so much money out of the endowment fund that it would be, disappear. So, but in the spirit of recognizing that the increase is, we do pay for close to over 95% of their budget, that we need to look at it a little differently. We also know that we provide all of the capital improvements that go on in the building. So this small $708 actually is a 2.75% increase over last year. And it does represent the fact that their budget did go up by, I think, 2.71%. So this is a 2.75. It's really just a recognition that we need to look at this a little further. It doesn't hurt anything, but it also, I think, acknowledges the fact that we probably need to take a little deeper dive and look at that situation. So with that explanation, that's why the budget is at that $1,837,109, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So I'll take somebody want to move that?
I'll move it.
Moved. Second by Fran. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next up is Willoughby Wallace, $321,474, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah, seconded by Alfred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next up is debt service. I will take, principal is $7,780,000. No change, and interest is $3,045,070, for a total of $10,826,070.
825.
$10,825,070. Thank you. Again, no change in the request. So moved by Fran,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Pensions and contributions, $7,357,940, no change.
So moved.
Moved by Yvette,
Second.
seconded by Alfred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Employee group insurance, $6,972,232, no change.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
I'll
seconded by Alfred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Municipal insurance, $2,650,721, no change recommended. Moved by Fran,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contingency, $990,000, no change recommended.
I'll move it.
Okay,
I'll second.
been moved and seconded. This is a discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll go to capital funds, and I'll go to the capital fund summary that was provided, and we're looking at, if I go through these and there's any questions, if not, we'll vote on the total, if that makes, we'll vote on the total, if that's acceptable. So for assessors, they asked for 90, we fund 90. For Commission on Elderly, they're asking for $35,000. For the vehicles sinking fund, we give them the $35,000. For engineering, they asked for $1,015,000, $750,000 of which was for the resiliency phase 3. We're looking at recommending that. Did we move that to the resiliency fund? So that's coming out of the resiliency fund. So $265,000 out of general fund is unchanged. Fire protection, they asked for $741,000, including the various, the sinking fund for $400,000, the ambulance for $125,000, radio upgrades for $50,000, the self-contained breathing apparatus for $125,000, and automated external defibrillator for $41,000, for a total of $741,000. We'd be funding that with this recommendation. General fund buildings asked for $105,000 for various projects. We'd fund that for $105,000. IT, they were asking for $445,000. We're pre-funding their cameras and their digitization, so we would fund them the balance out of this account for $230,000. Blackstone Memorial Library, we give them the $30,000 they requested for the sinking fund. Parks and open space for $20,000. We'd be paying that out of the appropriate fund for that, so that's not general fund. The police services is asking for, they asked for $396,844. We would not fund the portable radio replacement because we're advanced funding that in this 25-26 budget. So we'd give them, the balance is $247,044. Public Works, again, they asked for $1,313,000, which included $98,000 for radio replacement and $225,000 to fix bays 5 and 6 at the transfer station. Because we're pre-funding those, we fund the balance of $990,000 for the various requests. Parks and Rec, they asked for $430,000. We would fund $385,000, suggesting that the lawn tractor come out of one of the special funds. What's the name of that special fund?
Fund 204.
Fund 204, Dale. So that's the concept on that. So we would fund the $385,000. Solid waste and recycling, we would fund, they asked for $215,000, including a geothermal for $90,000. At this point, we would fund the $215,000. For the tax collector, asked for $98,000. We've pre-funded that, so we would not include that in this recommendation. Treasurer asked for $897,000, and we would adjust the lease fund down to $170,000 based on the, what is that based on? Oh, the $265,000 we paid for where?
Comes out of the Board of Education.
It comes out of the...
So the whole
Board of-
435 gets approved, 170 is from the town, and the balance is from the Board of Ed.
Okay. So the taxation amount on that is $632,000. Water pollution control, they asked for $450,000. We're okay with that, but that would come out of the special fund for the $450,000. So on the, I think that takes care of all of the allocations for capital requests, which includes some special funds. So that total is, for the general fund portion, is $4,955,044. Also covered as sewer utility was $450,000, and the other funds, which we've identified for $1,080,000. So for a total of that is $6,485,044. Questions, discussion? Again, these are all presented by the various departments, and down below on that summary sheet, we see that, again, in this year, we've allocated the $1,006,000 for pre-funding the amounts that we transferred out of fund balance in capital projects. Somebody want to have a question, or they want to move this?
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Been moved by Yvette, seconded by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, so next we'll go to the special funds. I think we have to go to the book on that one. So I'm looking at the open space.
Joe, where are you on that?
I'm on page 61 of the book.
What section?
It's the special funds, it's section 2. Section 2? No, section, actually...
The blue.
Section 3, the blue, the blue.
Section 3.
Thank you.
Section blue.
Thank you.
Okay.
And the open space is the first one,
Here we are.
which is, we all there? Other funds, there you go. Page 61 is Open space, expenditure request of $97,442. No changes recommended, and again, we know that this is self-funded through various leases, and there's a transfer in of $26,800. Somebody want to move it? Moved by Al,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Questions, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next is Shoreline Adult Education Enrichment Fund, expenditures, request of $81,000, no request, no changes for this? What?
The Board of Ed had presented a new budget after this book.
Oh, yeah.
You
You
want
have
my
that?
copy?
Yeah. I don't know where that went. Thank you. That's right, they did go over their changes, again, which was self-funded, increasing tuition and other adult programs, so their expenditure request is $168,525. No recommended changes other than what their request was. Somebody want to move this?
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry.
I'll second.
Seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up is School Age Child Care Fund, $762,661. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
I'll second.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is Sewer Assessment Fund, $17,034, no change.
I'll move that.
By Yvette,
I'll second.
seconded by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next up is Sewer Utility, $5,303,619 for the expenditures, knowing that $600,000 comes in from the town, for the rest is self-supporting. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Yvette, seconded by Deborah. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next is Animal Control Fund. Expenditure request of $588,379. And again, a transfer in from the town of $450,379, which we voted on previously. This is a special fund, no recommended changes, $588,379.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Al. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next up is Human Services Fund, $2,280,856. No recommended changes.
I'll move it.
Been moved by Deborah,
I'll second it.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up is, I think that's it for special funds. Do we need to do lease fund?
Yes, that was on the capital sheet. So no, you approved it as part of the capital when you went through the treasurer.
Okay. So just for, so that's the, in the Coastal Resiliency Fund, we included that?
Yep, that's in that capital too, as
The
well.
200,
It
so-
kind of
Yeah.
shows up in both
So
places.
it's the $240,000 for the resiliency. We voted on that. We voted on the lease fund for the town of $187,000 and the Board of Ed of $170,000. So I think that covers all of the budgets. And with that, Do we want to take a pause? Do you need to make any printouts or printout of the
Did you want to go through the
resolutions?
revenue changes?
Revenue changes we can go over? Sure. And then I'll do a recap. So we had budget changes. We had a request of $150,250,274. The adjusted budgets we voted on reduced that budget by $1,555,595 for revised expenditure in the general fund of $148,694,679. We're showing, again, a non-tax revenue of $22,172,648. In conversation with Catherine, she's suggested some changes. $14,074 would be increase the EMPG grant. What is that? Remind
That
me what
is on the emergency management grant.
Okay. So we pick up an additional $14,000 there. North Branford Probate Court, we pick up $5,900. Recreation Department revenues of $273,000, which were called out in the documentation of the budget. They failed to make it into the formula, so that's a positive adjustment of $273,000. Ambulance revenues, Catherine, when she looked at some of the results, again, they're somewhat volatile, but we felt comfortable adding $100,000 in revenue to the ambulance. And interest income, again, not sure of the volatility, but recognizing that there may be some opportunity to increase that amount, so a conservative amount of $250,000 has been added to interest income. So that would improve the revenues, reduce the tax requirements, and then would equate to an adjusted mill rate of 22.22, or a 0.82 increase in the mill rate. And that would assume the tax collector and his staff are able to collect at 98.75 collection rate, which is a little bit of a bump up from what was budgeted originally in the original documents. But in conversation Catherine and I have had with the tax collector, they feel confident in that 98.75. So again, that's a 22.22 mill rate, which is a 3.8% increase in the mill rate that's projected. Again, the Board of Finance will have final resolutions that we need to read through in order to move this recommended budget onto the RTM. The Board of Finance will be meeting back on May 16th, I believe, in order to finalize revenues and any other allocations or changes that the RTM makes, and again, have a final mill rate to recommend for the tax collector.
Yeah, I believe it's May 18th.
May 18th, thank you. Okay, any additional comments before we just need to print out, you need to print out those resolutions, and do you have those, or do you need to print them out?
I need to print them out, in case you had any other changes.
Okay, so we'll take a 5-minute or less break while Catherine prints out those resolutions, and then we'll take a final run at it. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, very beginning.
next year.
I'm on.
You're in?
I'm in.
You're in?
If you want to get a quick flight to Jersey, you probably get your act.
I've heard that.
Good thing I got my new glasses.
Can't find anywhere else.
Get the fog out of it.
No, it's the truth.
You're running air conditioning in the summer, you're running heat in the winter.
Ah, Jesus.
If you want to take those.
That's right.
Right, gonna make it 9 o'clock, doesn't it, right? 8:30. What do you do, huh?
That stop, you sit here for That's you. Yeah.
Howie sends out a bulletin too at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Howie, he sends out a bulletin.
Yes.
Then we're done.
Yes.
So I have a no chairperson. Angie.
Okay, we're going to get started with the final resolutions that we recommend to the RTM for fiscal 26-27. Resolve that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $73,189,576 to the Board of Education operating budget and capital for fiscal 26-27. Need somebody to move that?
So moved.
Moved by Fran,
I'll second.
seconded by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, again, the next one is resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $75,505,103 for all other town departments for fiscal year 2026-27.
So moved.
Been moved by Fran, moved by Al.
I'll second.
Seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The third resolution is resolved that the Board of Finance hereby passed the following budget for fiscal 26-27. Board of Education operating budget, $72,029,576. Board of Ed Special Ed, $0. Board of Education capital and leases, $1,160,000. For a subtotal for Board of Ed, $73,189,576. Town Department, $75,505,103, for a total of $148,694,679.
So moved.
It's been moved by Al,
I'll second.
seconded by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $97,442 to the Open Space Fund budget for fiscal year 2026-27.
So moved.
Moved by Fran, seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $17,034 to the Sewer Assessment Fund budget for fiscal year 2026-27.
I'll move it.
Moved by Harry,
I'll second.
second by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $168,525 for the Board of Education Shoreline Adult Education Enrichment Fund budget for the fiscal year 2026-27.
So moved.
Moved by Al,
I'll second.
second by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $762,661 to the Board of Education School-Age Child Care Fund budget for fiscal 2026-27.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah.
I'll second.
Second by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $5,303,619 to the wastewater treatment plant budget for fiscal year 2026-27.
I'll move it.
Second?
Moved by Yvette, seconded by Alfred. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Next, resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $588,379 to the Animal Control Fund budget for fiscal 2026-27.
I'll move it.
Moved by Deborah,
I'll second.
second by Yvette. Is there discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM an appropriation of $2,280,856 to the Human Services Special Revenue Fund budget for fiscal 2026-27.
So move.
Been moved by Alfred,
I'll second.
second by Deborah. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And last is the resolve that the Board of Finance recommends to the RTM a salary of $41,962.50 for the Registrar of Voters for the first year of their two-year term of office, and a 2.25% increase in their second year of office.
So moved.
Moved by Fran,
I'll second.
seconded. Is there a discussion?
What was the
Fran?
salary prior to this?
That's a good question. This was what they presented. When they presented their budget, they
Okay, it's in here, right?
they explained the increase due to the early voting and others, and based on the recommendation of the first selectman for the second year, the 2.25 would fall in line with more than likely other departments that may have an increase. And Catherine, you have more?
The only thing I'd like to clarify is, so if you look in the budget, the 63,925, it's kind of like a hybrid because their salary increases mid-year.
Yeah.
So what they were looking for was an additional 10,000 apiece, so that's how I got the salaries to stay. I believe their salary is 32,000 maybe and
Okay, so
change.
roughly 32.
Yeah, exactly.
So what happens, Fran, is that for elected offices, in this in particular, they need to set it before their reelection term, and then so it doesn't change while they're in office in this case. Okay, so that's why we actually add these in there to in advance of their upcoming election, let's say.
Thank you.
So we had, motion was made and seconded, is that correct? Okay. Additional discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we're done with our agenda items for tonight. Ordinarily, we just, I would like to thank the First Selectman's Office, Trista, Josh, Christine, and Catherine and the Finance Office for great preparation work. And also the departments, I think, did a great job in their presentations. And the board, I think, it's a newly constituted board. I know it's a little challenging at times to follow everything. It's tried to be as clear and transparent, and hopefully all the board members were able to contribute and, get any types of input that they wish to express, and also answered any questions. So, is there anybody else that'd like to make comments before we close out the meeting? Any of the board members? Okay. Josh, you're good?
Yes, thank you. And I would like to say to this body, I appreciate all your support, making this first year for me a little easier. And I hope that, we can work together in the future. Just know that my office is open to all of you, and I hope you all have my phone number at any time with any questions or concerns, because I I've always loved the nature of the Board of Finance. It feels like we all work together very well. And so I just want to say I want to keep that spirit alive.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks to all, and with no other business to come before the board, I'll
One
entertain-
comment, Mr. Chairman. One comment.
One comment?
Yeah,
Sure.
in terms of going forward, I think we should consider from time to time going into executive session at the very beginning, so that as a board, and I say that because of the new membership in the new administration, to work out any kinks that we feel about that shouldn't be here before the forum. You know, you could say we do it on an individual basis, but I think it's a good learning curve for all of us in the management, because to me, this was a very difficult year. And with so many new people, you know, that everything changed from the foundation up. So whatever needs to be done administratively and with the town clerk's office, that we are in legal preparation. And it doesn't mean it's every month. It could be a couple a year, you know, and I think it gives us a better ability to game plan. Thank you.
Okay, we'll take that under consideration. Other comments? If not, there's a motion on the floor to adjourn, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Joe, that I didn't have a motion and a second for adjournment.
I think Yvette, you
I
seconded.
will move it if I haven't.
I'll second it. Thank you.
You good?
Perfect.
France second.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.